Good evening, classmates and instructor. This is Kathy Boone, and tonight I will be delivering my 5th week presentation here in oral communications. Tonight's speech is a persuasive speech, and I will be dedicating it to an organization that I am affiliated with here in my hometown, Triad Association of Black Journalists on the Uprise. Now, the specific speech is to persuade the organization to recruit young journalists such as bloggers, podcasters, producers, and women and men of color and other ethnicities. The audience is recent grads, women, and men. According to the National Black Journalists Association, there are only 40 organizations in the U.S. that dedicate themselves to people of color. Now, it is my opinion that local and national chapters should recruit women and men of color. By doing so, this only strengthens the local chapters and national chapters with diversity. I've been a member of the Triad Association of Black Journalists for 5 years now. What I love about the association is the fact that we're able to come together and enhance our communities with local projects. One in particular that we've worked on this past summer was a book donation drive. What I love most about this particular project is that we were able to go out into the community and ask them to donate books that they have read or possibly purchased books to fill a library. I also love the fact that I had a student come up to me and said that she was very thankful that we were able to put books in her library because now she'll be able to read books about people that look just like her. How amazing is that? According to the Columbia Journalism Review, a new study states that some of the biggest newsrooms in the country are still falling short of filling nearly 50-year pledge to increase the employment of people of color in top positions despite repeated reviews and news coverage. So positions such as producers, editors, writers, sales, none of this has been filled or met by that 50-year pledge. Now, according to CNN.com, for years, newsrooms across America have had a problem with the lack of diversity and inclusion. People of color are underrepresented among news organizations. Just as I said, it's a 50-year pledge of people of color not being employed and not holding positions in the news media. Now, although non-whites make up 40% of the U.S. population, journalists of color only meets 16.55% of newsroom staff. Larger newsrooms and digital organizations, however, are doing better. They are hiring at 23.4% and 24.3% of employment of people of color. Now, 13.4% of people of color hold positions in the news industry. Okay, 13.4% people of color only hold positions in the news industry. Now, since 1978, many of the newsrooms have pledged to bring more diversity in the news. I believe that this will happen when we look at our younger generation. Yep, young millennials will be the one to become the catalyst and really make a change and show diversity in news media. Young millennials, Black and other ethnicities, are now applying for these types of jobs, these jobs that are digital. They are doing this, and they, in my opinion, will bridge the gap that we need in news. Now, according to CNN.com, certain stories are simply not being shared, and the perspective from a person of color is not there. What they're saying is that diversity is needed, and it is needed badly enough to where, now younger people are going to have to do that. One thing that I can say, in my research, I noticed that when they spoke of young millennials, they basically said young millennials are carving a way into the industry, meaning that they are taking on social media. They're utilizing Facebook, they're utilizing Twitter, Snapchat. They're creating a way to get the news out there. And I find that to be very fantastic. I think that is needed. I can say personally that with me owning my own online radio and internet, television, and radio stations, I've been able to give opportunity to young black journalists because they know social media. They know that news is there and they create a way and a path. So I do believe that the gap that they stated earlier in my speech, that 50-year pledge, the fact that 40% of the news organizations are represented by color, we're going to make that change. I also believe that diversity seen in media creates change, and it only enhances the view of the world in which we see through our eyes. I also believe that the news stories that we are currently seeing at this moment need change. And when we include men and women of color and other ethnicities, the change will definitely be met. Guys, thank you so much for listening to my speech. I appreciate it. Have a good night.